make sure I got all my food and my water in before this fast, man. I'm feeling fat right now. I'll be better off tomorrow in the morning. Had to make sure I got my electrolytes and whatnot. Oh, man. All right. Finna get started. Deuteronomy chapter 1. These are the words that Moshe spoke to all of Yasharal on the other side of the Jordan, concerning the wilderness, concerning the Arabah, opposite the Sea of Reeds, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban, and Hazeroth, and Dizahab, Dizahab, 11 days from Horeb, by way of Mount Seir to Kadesh Barnea. It was in the 40th year, in the 11th month, on the first of the month, when Moshe spoke to the children of Yasharal, according to everything that Yahweh commanded him to them, after he had smited Sihon, king of the Amorite, who dwelt in Heshbon, and Og, king of Bashan, who dwelt in Ashtaroth, and Adri. On the other side of the Jordan in the land of Moab, Moshe began explaining this Torah, saying, Yahweh, our Elohim, spoke to us in Horeb, saying, Enough of your dwelling by this mountain. Turn yourselves around and journey, and come to the Amorite mountain and all its neighbors in the Arabah, on the mountain, and in the lowland, and in the south, and at the sea coast, the land of the Canaanite, and the land of the Lebanon, until the great river, the Euphrates River. See, I have given the land before you. Come and possess the land that Yahweh swore to your forefathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them and their children after them. I said to you at that time, saying, I cannot carry you alone. Yahweh, your Elohim, has multiplied you, and behold, you are today like the stars of heaven in abundance. May Yahweh, the Elohim of your forefathers, add to you 1,000 times yourselves, and bless you as he has spoken of you. How can I alone carry your contentiousness, your burdens, and your quarrels? Provide yourselves distinguished men, who are wise, understanding, and well known in your tribes, and I shall appoint them as your heads. You answered me and said, the thing that you have proposed to do is good. So I took the heads of your tribes, distinguished men who are wise and well known, and I appointed them as heads over you. Leaders of thousands, leaders of hundreds, leaders of fifties, and leaders of tens, and officers for your tribes. I instructed your judges at that time, saying, listen among your brethren and judge righteously between a man and his brother or his litigant. You shall not show favoritism in judgment. Small and great alike shall you hear. And you shall not tremble before any man, for the judgment is your Elohim's. Any matter that is too difficult for you, you shall bring to me, and I shall hear it. I commanded you at the time all the things that you should do. We journeyed from Horeb, and we went through the entire great and awesome wilderness that you saw, by way of the Amorite mountain, as Yahweh our Elohim commanded us. And we came until Kadesh Barnea. Then I said to you, you have come unto the Amorite mountain that Yahweh our Elohim gives us. See, Yahweh your Elohim has placed a land before you. Go up and possess, as Yahweh Elohim of your forefathers has spoken to you. Do not fear and do not lose resolve. All of you approached me and said, let us send men ahead of us and let them spy out the land for us, and bring word back to us, the road on which we should ascend and the cities to which we should come. The idea was good in my eyes, so I took from you 12 men, one man for each tribe. They turned and ascended the mountain and came into the valley of Eshol and spied it out. They took in their hands from the fruit of the land and brought it down to us. They brought back word to us and said, good is the land that Yahweh our Elohim gives us. Oh, it's all good, Sunrise. But verse 26. But you did not wish to ascend, and you rebelled against the word of Yahweh your Elohim. You slandered in your tents and said, because of Yahweh's hatred for us, did he take us out of the land of Egypt, to deliver us into the hand of the Amorite to destroy us. To where shall we ascend? Our brothers have melted our hearts, saying, a people greater and taller than we, cities great and fortified to the heavens, and even children of giants have we seen there. Then I said to you, do not be broken and do not fear them. Yahweh your Elohim, who goes before you, he shall make war for you, like everything he did for you in Egypt before your eyes. And in the wilderness, as you have seen, that Yahweh your Elohim bore you, as a man carries his son, on the entire way that you travel until you arrived at this place. Yet in this manner matter, you do not believe in Yahweh your Elohim, who goes before you on the way to seek out you a place for you to encamp, with fire by night to show you the road that you should travel, and with a cloud by day. Yahweh heard the sounds of your word, and he was incensed, and he swore, saying, if even a man of these people, this evil generation, shall see the good land that I swore to give to your forefathers, except for Caleb son of Jephunneh, he shall see it, and to him shall I give the land on which he walked, and to his children, because he followed Yahweh wholeheartedly. With me as well, Yahweh became angry because of you, saying, you too shall not come there. Joshua, son of Nun, who stands before you, he shall come there. Strengthen him, for he shall cause Yasharal to inherit it. And as for your small children, of whom you said, they will be taken captive, and your children who did not know good from evil this day, they will come there. To them shalt thou give it, and they shall possess it. And as for you, turn yourselves around and journey to the wilderness, by way of the sea of reeds. Then you spoke up and said to me, we have sinned to Yahweh. We shall go up and do battle according to everything that Yahweh our Elohim has commanded us. Every man of you girded his weapons of war, and you were ready to ascend the mountain. Yahweh said to me, tell them, do not ascend and do not do battle, for I am not among you, so that you not be struck down before your enemies. So I spoke to you, but you did not listen. You rebelled against the word of Yahweh, and you were willful in climbing the mountain. The Amorite who dwelled on that mountain went out against you and pursued you as the bees would do. They struck you in Seir until Hormah. Then you retreated and wept before Yahweh. But Yahweh did not listen to your voice, and he did not hearken to you. You dwelt in Kadesh for many days as you dwelt. Chapter 2. Shalom, YVO. Shalom, Hazel. Anybody want to come up, raise your hand. One of these holy oils all up in my nostrils right now. All right, chapter 2. We turned and journeyed to the wilderness toward the sea of reeds, as Yahweh spoke to me, and we circled Mount Seir for many days. Yahweh said to me, saying, enough of your circling this mountain. Turn yourselves northward. You shall command the people, saying, you are passing through the boundary of your brothers, the children of Esau, who dwell in Seir. They will fear you, but you shall be very careful. You shall not provoke them, for I shall not give you of their land, even the right to set foot. For as an inheritance to the children of Esau have I given Mount Seir. You shall purchase food from them for money, so that you may eat. Also water shall you buy from them for money, so that you may drink. For Yahweh, your Elohim, has blessed you in all your handiwork. He knew your way in this great wilderness. This 40-year period, Yahweh, your Elohim was with you. You did not lack a thing. So we passed from our brothers, the children of Esau, who dwell in Seir, from the way of the Rabbah, from Eloth, and from Ezion Geber. And we turned and passed on the way of the Moabite desert. Yahweh said to me, you shall not distress Moab, and you shall not provoke war with them, for I shall not give you an inheritance from their land. For to the children of Lot have I given Ar as an inheritance. The Emim dwelled there previously, a great and populous people, and tall as the giants. They too were considered Rephaim, like the giants, and the Moabites called them Emim. And in Seir the Horites dwelled previously, and the children of Esau drove them away and destroyed them from before themselves, and dwelled in their place, as Yasharal did to the land of its inheritance, which Yahweh gave them. Now rise up and get yourselves across Zered Brook. So we crossed Zered Brook. The days that we traveled from Kadesh Barnea until we crossed Zered Brook were 38 years, until the end of the entire generation. The men of war from the midst of the camp, as Yahweh swore to them. Even the hand of Yahweh was on them to confound them from the midst of the camp until their end. So it was that the men of war finished dying from amidst the people. Yahweh spoke to me, saying, this day you shall cross the border of Moab at Ar, and you shall approach opposite the children of Ammon. You shall not distress them, and you shall not provoke them, for I shall not give any of the land of the children of Ammon to you as an inheritance, for to the children of Lot have I given it as an inheritance. It too is considered the land of the Rephaim. The Rephaim dwelled in it previously, and the Ammonites called them Zamzumim. A great and populous people, as tall as giants, and Yahweh destroyed them before them, and they drove them out and dwelt in their place, just as he did for the children of Esau who dwelt in Seir, that he destroyed the Horite before them. They drove them out and dwelt in their place until this day. As for the Avim, who dwell in the open cities until Gaza, the Caphtorim, who went out of Caphtor, destroyed them and dwelt in their place. Rise up and cross Ammon brook. See, into your hand have I delivered Sihon, king of Heshbon, the Amorite, and his land. Begin to drive him out and provoke war with him. This day I shall begin to place dread and fear of you on the peoples under the entire heaven, when they hear of your reputation, and they will tremble and be anxious before you. I sent messengers from the wilderness of Kedemoth to Sihon, king of Heshbon, words of peace, saying, let me pass through your land. Only on the road shall I go. I will not stray right or left. Food you will sell to me for money, and I shall eat, and you will give me water for money, and I shall drink. Only let me pass through on foot, as the children of Esau who dwell in Seir did it for me, and the Moabites who dwell in Ar, until I cross the Jordan to the land that Yahweh our Elohim gives us. But Sihon, king of Heshbon, was not willing to let us pass through it. For Yahweh your Elohim hardened his spirit and made his heart stubborn, in order to give him into your hand, like this very day. Yahweh said to me, see, I have begun to deliver you, Sihon and his land. Begin to drive out to possess his land. Sihon went out towards us, he and his entire people, for battle, to Jahaz. Yahweh our Elohim gave him before us, and we smote him and his sons and his entire people. We captured all his cities at that time, and we destroyed every populated city with the women and small children. We did not leave a survivor. Only the animals did we loot for ourselves, and the booty of the cities that we captured. From Aurora, I don't know how you pronounce that, which is by the shore of Ammon Brook, and the city that is by the brook, and until Gilead, there was no city that was too strong for us. Yahweh our Elohim gave everything before us. Only to the land of the children of Ammon did you not draw near. Everywhere near Jabbok Brook and the cities of the mountain, and everywhere that Yahweh our Elohim commanded us. Chapter 3. We turned and ascended by the way of the Bashan, and Og, king of Bashan, went out towards us, he and his entire people, for war at Edrei. Yahweh said to me, do not fear him, for in your hand have I given him and his entire people and his land. And you shall do to him as you did to Sihon, king of the Amorite, who dwells in Heshbon. Yahweh our Elohim gave into our hand also Og, king of the Bashan, and his entire people, and we smote him until no survivor was left of him. We captured all his cities at that time. There was no city that we did not take from them. 60 cities, the entire region of Argob, the cities of Og and of Bashan. All these were fortified cities with a high wall, doors and a bar. Aside from open cities, very many. We destroyed them, as we did to Sihon, king of Heshbon, destroying every populated city, the women and small children, and all the animals and the booty of the cities we looted for ourselves. At that time we took the land from the hand of the two kings of the Amorite that were on the other side of the Jordan, from Ammon Brook to Mount Hermon. Sidonians will refer to Hermon as Sirion, and the Amorites will call it Sinir. All the cities of the plain, the entire Gilead and the entire Bashan until Sakah and Edrei, the cities of the kingdom of Og and the Bashan. For only Og, king of Bashan, was left of the remaining Rephaim. Behold, his bed was an iron bed. It is in Rabbah of the children of Ammon. 9 cubits was its length, and 4 cubits its width, by the cubit of that man. Dang, that's like a 13-foot bed. And we possessed that land at that time, from Aroer, which is by the Ammon Brook, and half of the mountain of Gilead and its cities that I give it to the Reubenite and the Gadite. The rest of the Gilead and the entire Bashan, the kingdom of Og, that I give half the tribe of Manasseh, the entire region of the Argob of the entire Bashan, that is called the land of Rephaim. Jair, son of Manasseh, took the entire region of Argob unto the border of the Gesherite and the Ma'akathite, and he named them the Bashan after himself, Havoth Jair, until this day. To Machir I gave the Gilead, to the Reubenite and the Gadite I gave from the Gilead until Arnon Brook. the midst of the brook, and the border until Jabbok brook, the border of the children of Ammon, and the Arabah, and the Jordan and its border, from Kinnereth to the Arabah Sea, the Salt Sea, below the waterfalls from the mountaintop eastward. I commanded you at that time, saying, Yahweh, your Elohim, gave you this land for a possession. Armed shall you cross over before your brethren, the children of Yasharal, all the men of accomplishment. Only your wives, small children, and livestock, I know that you have abundant livestock, shall dwell in your cities that I have given you. Until Yahweh shall give rest to your brethren like yourselves, and they too shall possess the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives them on the other side of the Jordan. Then you shall return, every man to his inheritance that I have given you. I commanded Joshua at that time, saying, Your eyes have seen everything that Yahweh your Elohim has done to these two kings. So will Yahweh do to all the kingdoms where you cross over. You shall not fear them, for Yahweh your Elohim, he shall wage war for you. I implored Yahweh at that time, saying, My Adonai, Yahweh, you have begun to show your servant your greatness and your strong hand. For what power is there in heaven or on earth that can perform to your deeds and according to your mighty acts? Let me now cross and see the good land that is on the other side of the Jordan, this good mountain and the Lebanon. But Yahweh became angry with me because of you, and he did not listen to me. Yahweh said to me, It is too much for you. Do not continue to speak to me further about this matter. Ascend to the top of the cliff and raise your eyes westward, northward, southward, and eastward, and see with your eyes, for you shall not cross this Jordan. But you shall command Joshua, and strengthen him and give him resolve, for he shall cross before this people, and he shall cause them to inherit the land that you will see. So we remained in the valley opposite Beth Peor. Chapter 4. Now, O Yasharal, listen to the decrees and to the ordinances that I teach you to perform, so that you may live, and you will come and possess the land that Yahweh, the Elohim of your forefathers, gives you. You shall not add to the word that I command you, nor shall you subtract from it, to observe the commandments of Yahweh, your Elohim, that I command you. Your eyes have seen what Yahweh did with Baal Peor. For every man that followed Baal Peor, Yahweh, your Elohim, destroyed him from your midst. But you who cling to Yahweh, your Elohim, you are all alive today. See, I have taught you decrees and ordinances as Yahweh, my Elohim, has commanded me, to do so in the midst of the land to which you come to possess it. You shall safeguard and perform them, for it is your wisdom and discernment in the eyes of the people, who shall hear all these decrees, and who shall say, Surely a wise and discerning people is this great nation. For which is a great nation that has an Elohim who is close to it, as is Yahweh our Elohim, whenever we call to him. And which is a great nation that has righteous decrees and ordinances, such as this entire Torah that I place before you this day. Only beware for yourself and greatly beware for your soul, lest you forget the things that your eyes have beheld, and lest you remove them from your heart all the days of your life, and make them known to your children and your children's children. The day that you stood before Yahweh, your Elohim, at Horeb, when Yahweh said to me, Gather the people to me, and I shall let them hear my words, so that they shall learn to fear me all the days that they live on the earth, and they shall teach their children. So you approached and stood at the foot of the mountain, and the mountain was burning with fire up to the heart of heaven, darkness, cloud, and thick cloud. Yahweh spoke to you from the midst of the fire. You were hearing the sound of words, but you were not seeing a likeness, only a sound. He told you of his covenant that he commanded you to observe, the 10 declarations, and he inscribed them on 2 stone tablets. Yahweh commanded me at that time to teach you decrees and ordinances, that you shall perform them in the land to which you cross to possess it. But you shall greatly beware for your souls, for you did not see any likeness on the day Yahweh spoke to you at Horeb from the midst of the fire. Lest you act corruptly and make for yourselves a carved image, a likeness of any shape, a form of a male or female, a form of any animal that is on the earth, a form of any winged bird that flies in the heavens, a form of anything that creeps on the ground, a form of any fish that is in the water under the earth. Lest you raise your eyes to the heavens and you see the sun and the moon and the stars, the entire legion of heaven, and you be drawn away and bow to them and worship them, which Yahweh your Elohim has apportioned to all the peoples under the entire heaven. But Yahweh has taken you and withdrawn you from the iron crucible, from Egypt, to be a nation of heritage for him as this very day. Verse 21. Yahweh became angry with me because of your deeds, and he swore that I would not cross the Jordan and not come to the good land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you as a heritage. Shalom, face. If you want to come up and read, raise your hand. We're on chapter 4, verse 21. We'll turn 22 now. For I will die in this land. I am not crossing the Jordan, but you are crossing, and you shall possess this good land. Beware for yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, that he has sealed with you, and you make yourselves a carved image, a likeness of anything as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. For Yahweh your Elohim, he is a consuming fire, a zealous God, Elohim. When you beget children and grandchildren, and will have been long in the land, you will grow corrupt and make a carved image, a likeness of anything, and you will do evil in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim, to anger him. I appoint heaven and earth this day to bear witness against you, that you will surely perish quickly from the land to which you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You shall not have lengthy days upon it, for you will be destroyed. Yahweh will scatter you among the peoples, and you will be left few in number among the nations where Yahweh will lead you. There you will serve gods, the handiwork of man, of wood and stone, which do not see, do not hear, and do not eat, and do not smell. From there you will seek Yahweh your Elohim, and you will find him, if you search for him with all your heart and all your soul. When you are in distress and all these things have befallen you, at the end of days, you will return unto Yahweh your Elohim and hearken to his voice. For Yahweh your Elohim is a merciful Elohim. He will not abandon you nor destroy you, and he will not forget the covenant of your forefathers that he swore to them. For inquire now regarding the early days that preceded you, from the day when Elohim created man on the earth, and from one end of the heaven to the other end of heaven. Has there ever been anything like this great thing, or anything like it been heard? Has a people ever heard the voice of Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire as you have heard, and survived? Or has any God ever miraculously come to take himself a nation from amidst a nation, with challenges, with signs, and with wonders, and with war, and with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with greatly awesome deeds, such as everything that Yahweh your Elohim did for you in Egypt before your eyes? You have been shown in order to know that Yahweh, he is the Elohim. There is none beside him. From heaven, he caused you to hear his voice in order to teach you. And on earth, he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words from the midst of the fire, because he loved your forefathers, and he chose his offspring after him, and took you out before himself with his great strength from Egypt, to drive away from before you nations that are greater and mightier than you, to bring you, to give you their land as inheritance, as this very day. You shall know this day and take to your heart that Yahweh, he is the Elohim, in heaven above and on the earth below. There is none other. You shall observe his decrees and the commandments that I command you on this day, so that he will do good to you and to your children after you, and so that you will prolong your days on the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you for all the days. Then Moshe set aside 3 cities on the bank of the Jordan, toward the rising sun, for a killer to flee there, who will have killed his fellow without knowledge, but who was not an enemy of his from yesterday and before yesterday. Then he shall flee to one of these cities and live. Bezer in the wilderness, in the land of the plain of the Reubenite, Ramoth in the Gilead, of the Gadite, and Golan in the Bashan of the Manassite. This is the teaching that Moshe placed before the children of Yasharal. These are the testimonies, the decrees, and the ordinances that Moshe spoke to the children of Yasharal when they left Egypt. On the bank of the Jordan, in the valley opposite Beth Peor, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorite, who dwells in Heshbon, which Moshe and the children of Yasharal smote when they went out of Egypt. They possessed his land in the land of Og, the king of Bashan, 2 kings of the Amorite, which are on the bank of the Jordan, where the sun rises from Aroer, that is by the shore of Arnon Brook, until Mount Sion, which is Hermon, and the entire Araba, the eastern bank of the Jordan, unto the sea of the Araba, under the waterfalls of the cliffs. Chapter 5. Moshe called all of Yasharal and said to them, Hear, O Yasharal, the decrees and the ordinances that I speak in your ears today. Learn them and be careful to perform them. Yahweh our Elohim sealed a covenant with us at Horeb. Not with our forefathers did Yahweh seal this covenant, but with us, we who are here, all of us alive today. Face to face did Yahweh speak with you on the mountain from amid the fire. I was standing between Yahweh and you at that time to relate the word of Yahweh to you. For you were afraid of the fire, and you did not ascend the mountain, saying, I am Yahweh, your Elohim, who has taken you out of the land of Egypt, from the house of slavery. You shall not recognize the gods of others in my presence. You shall not make for yourself a carved image of any likeness of that which is in the heaven above, or the earth below, or in the water beneath the earth. You shall not prostrate yourself to them, nor worship them. For I am Yahweh, your Elohim, a zealous Elohim, who visits the sins of fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations for my enemies, but who shows kindness for thousands of generations to those who love me and observe my commandments. You shall not take the name of Yahweh your Elohim in vain, for Yahweh will not absolve anyone who takes his name in vain. Safeguard the Shabbat day to sanctify it, as Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you. 6 days shall you labor and accomplish all your work, but the seventh day is the Shabbat to Yahweh, your Elohim. You shall not do any work, you, your son, your daughter, your slave, your maidservant, your ox, your donkey, your every animal, and your convert within your gates, in order that your slave and your maidservant may rest like you. And you shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your Elohim has taken you out from there with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore, Yahweh your Elohim has commanded you to make the Shabbat day. Honor your father and your mother, as Yahweh your Elohim commanded you, so that your days will be lengthened, and so that it will be good for you upon the land that Yahweh your Elohim gives you. You shall not murder, and you shall not commit adultery, and you shall not steal, and you shall not bear vain witness against your fellow. And you shall not covet your fellow's wife. You shall not desire your fellow's house, his field, his slave, his maidservant, his ox, his donkey, or anything that belongs to your fellow. These words Yahweh spoke to your entire congregation on the mountain from the midst of the fire, the cloud and the thick cloud, a great voice never to be repeated. And he inscribed them on 2 stone tablets and gave them to me. It happened that when you heard the voice from the midst of the darkness, and the mountain was burning in fire, that you, all the heads of your tribes and your elders, approached me. You said, Behold, Yahweh our Elohim has shown us his glory and his greatness, and we have heard his voice from the midst of the fire. This day we saw that Yahweh will speak to a person and he can live. But now, why should we die when this great fire consumes us? If we continue to hear the voice of Yahweh our Elohim any longer, we will die. For is there any human that has heard the voice of the living Elohim speaking from the midst of the fire as we have and lived? You should approach and hear whatever Yahweh our Elohim will say, and you should speak to us whatever Yahweh our Elohim will speak to you. Then we shall hear and we shall do. Yahweh heard the sound of your words when you spoke to me, and Yahweh said to me, I heard the sound of the words of this people that they have spoken to you. They did dwell in all that they spoke. They did well in all that they spoke. Who can assure that this heart should remain theirs, to fear me and observe all my commandments all the days, so that it should be good for them and for their children forever? Go say to them, return to your tents. But as for you, stand here with me, and I shall speak to you the entire commandment, and the decrees and the ordinances that you shall teach them, and they shall perform in the land that I give them to possess it. You shall be careful to act as Yahweh your Elohim commanded you. You shall not stray to the right or left. On the entire way that Yahweh your Elohim commanded you, you shall go, so that you shall live and it will be good for you, and you shall prolong your days in the land that you shall possess. We're about to hit chapter 6. Shalom, Diviniah, Sage, Keisha, Face, Judah, everybody that came in. Anybody want to help read? Raise your hand, I'll bring you up. Hazel, I'm about to bring you up. Devanayu.
I'm sorry, where are we again?
Chapter 6.
Now this is the commandment, and these are the statutes and judgments which the Lord your God has commanded to teach you, that you may observe them in the land which you are crossing over to possess, that you may fear the Lord your God, and keep all his statutes and his commandments which I command you, you and your son and your grandson, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Therefore, hear, O Israel, and be careful to absorb it, that it may be well with you, and that you may multiply greatly as the Lord, God of your fathers, has promised. You a land flowing with milk and honey. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as for frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. So it shall be, when the Lord your God brings you into the land of which he swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give you large and beautiful cities which you did not build, houses full of all good things which you did not build, hen out wells which you did not dig, vineyards and olive trees which you did not plant. When you have eaten and are full, then be aware lest you forget the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage. You shall fear the Lord your God and serve him, and shall take oaths in his name. You shall not go after other gods, the gods of the peoples who are all around you. For the Lord your God is a jealous God among you, lest the anger of the Lord your God be aroused against you and destroy you from the face of the earth. You shall not tempt the Lord your God as you tempted him in Massah. You shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God, his testimonies and statutes, which he commanded you. And you shall do what is right and good in the sight of the Lord, that it may be well with you, and that you may go in and possess the good land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to cast out all enemies from before you, as the Lord has spoken. When your son asks you in time to come, saying, what is the meaning of the testimonies, the statutes, and the judgments which the Lord our God has commanded you? You shall say to your son, we were slaves of Pharaoh in Egypt, and the Lord brought us out of Egypt with a mighty hand. And the Lord showed signs and wonders before our eyes, great and severe against Egypt, Pharaoh and all his household. Then he brought us out from there, and that he might bring us in to give us a land of which he swore to our fathers. The Lord commanded us to observe these statutes, to fear the Lord our God, for our good always, that he might preserve us alive. And it is this day, as it is this day. Then it will be righteous for us, and if we are careful to absorb all these commandments before the Lord our God as he has commanded us. When the Lord your God brings you into a land which you go to possess, and has cast out many nations before you, the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, 7 nations greater and mightier than you. And when the Lord your God delivers them over to you, you shall conquer them and utterly destroy them. You shall make no covenant with them, nor show mercy to them, nor shall you make marriages with them. You shall not give your daughter to their son, nor take daughters for your son, for they will turn your sons away from following me, to serve other gods. So the anger of the Lord will be aroused against you and destroy you suddenly. But thus you shall deal with them. You shall destroy their altars, break down their sacred pillars, and cut down their wooden images, and burn their carved images with fire. For you are a holy people to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you to be a people for himself, a special treasure above all the peoples on the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love on you, nor choose you because you were more in number than any other people, for you were the least of all the peoples. But because the Lord loves you, and because he would keep the oath which he swore to your fathers. The Lord has brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you from the house of bondage, from the hands of Pharaoh king of Egypt. Therefore, that the Lord your God, he is good, the faithful God who keeps covenant and mercy for 1,000 generations with those who love him and keep his commandments. And he repays those who hate him to their face, to destroy them. He will not be slack with him who hates him. He will repay him to his face. Therefore you shall keep the commandment and statutes and the judgments which I command you today to observe them. Then it shall come to pass, because you listen to these judgments and keep and do them, that the Lord your God will keep with you the covenant and the mercy which he swore to your fathers. And he will love you and bless you and multiply you. He will also bless the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your land, your grain and your new wine and your oil, the increase of your cattle and the offspring of your flock, in the land of which he swore to your fathers to give you. You shall be blessed above all peoples. There shall not be a male or female barren among you, or among your livestock. And the Lord will take away from you all sickness, and will afflict you with none of the terrible diseases of Egypt, which you have known, but will lay them on all those who hate you. Also you shall destroy all the peoples whom the Lord your God delivers over to you. Your eyes shall have no pity on them, nor shall you serve their gods, for that will be a snare to you. If you should say in your heart, these nations are greater than I, how can I dispose them? You shall not be afraid of them. But you shall remember well that the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and all of Egypt the great trials which your eyes saw, the signs and the wonders, the mighty land and the outstretched arm, by which the Lord your God brought you out. You shall, you shall the, you shall, so shall the Lord your God do to all the peoples of whom you are afraid. Moreover, the Lord your God will send the hornet among them, until those who are left, who hide themselves among you, are destroyed. You shall not be terrified of them, for the Lord your God, the great and awesome God, is among you. The Lord your God will drive out those nations before you. Little by little, you will be unable. You will be unable to destroy them at once, lest the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. But the Lord your God will deliver them over to you, and will inflict defeat upon them until they are destroyed. And he will deliver the kings into your hand, and you will destroy their name from under heaven. No one shall be able to stand against you until you have destroyed them. You shall burn the carved images of their gods with fire. You shall covet the silver of gold that is on them, nor take it for yourselves, lest you be snared by it. For it is an abomination to the Lord your God. Nor shall you bring an abomination into your house, lest you be doomed to destruction like it. You shall utterly detest it and utterly abhor it, for it is an accursed thing. Amen.
Uh, Devanah, you can take 8 and 9. Sage 10, 11, and Mike, you can take 12.
Or
Hello, brother.
Are
Yeah, sorry. I came in late, so I have no idea what book you guys are reading from. It doesn't appear to be
oh
Numbers.
no, it's
Or am I
right in
wrong?
the title. We just started Deuteronomy.
No wonder I couldn't find it.
it's
I'm sorry, what's the
Deuteronomy.
chapter, please?
We are on
Deuteronomy.
chapter 8 now.
What chapter?
8. Oh,
Chapter 8,
see.
okay, chapter 8, and I'm reading starting
You
verse 9.
No, no,
I
no.
mean,
Read chapters 8 and 9.
okay, you got it. Uh, Peace and blessings to the readings of the words of the Most High, and may we get understanding as we read His words. All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which the Lord, which Yahweh sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy Elohim led thee these 40 years in the wilderness to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thine heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knewest not, neither did thy father know, that neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yahweh doth man live. Thy raiment waxed old not upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chastised his son, so Yahweh Elohim chastised thee. Therefore, thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy Elohim to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yahweh thy Elohim bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks, of water, of fountains, and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of oil, olive, and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass, and thou hast eaten and art full. Then thou shalt bless Yahweh thy Elohim for the good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy Elohim in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, lest when thou hast eaten and art full and hast built goodly houses and dwelt therein, and then thy herds and thy flocks multiply, animals, people, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, and thou forget that Yahweh thy Elohim, which brought thee out forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out. Who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, and he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee to do thee good in thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, my power and my strength, mine hand had got me all this wealth. I'm a God. But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy Elohim, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant which he sware unto his fathers, as it is to this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget Yahweh thy Elohim, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which the Yahweh destroy it before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. Deuteronomy chapter 9. Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go in to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of the Anakims, who thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, who can stand before the children of Anak? Understand therefore this day that Yahweh thy Elohim is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Elohim had said unto thee. Yahweh said unto thee, speak not thou in thine heart after that. Yahweh thy Elohim has cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness Yahweh had brought me in to possess this land, but for wickedness of these nations, Yahweh doth drive them out before thee, nor for thy righteousness or for thy uprightness of thine heart dost thou go in to possess their land, but for the wickedness. Thank you, Father. But for the wickedness of these nations, Yahweh thy Elohim doth drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand therefore that the Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Remember and forget not how thou provokest Yahweh, thy Elohim, to wrath in the wilderness. Remember that? From the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt until ye came into this place, ye have been rebellious against Yahweh. Also in Horeb, ye provoked Yahweh to wrath, so that Yahweh was angry with you to have destroyed you. And when I was gone up with the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of covenant, this is Abraham, Moses speaking, covenant which Yahweh made with you, then I abode in the mount in Mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water, Moses saying. And Yahweh delivered unto me 2 tables of stone, written, written with the finger of Yahweh. And on them was written according to all the words which Yahweh spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that Yahweh gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant. And Yahweh said unto me, arise, get thee down quickly from thence, for thy people, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt, have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Further, furthermore, the Lord spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone that I may destroy them and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. Woo. So I turned and came down the mount from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, volcano, and the two tables of the covenant were in my two hands. And I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against Yahweh your Elohim, and had made you a molten calf. Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which Yahweh had commanded you. And I took the two tables, and I cast them into my two hands, and I broke them before your eyes. And I fell down before Yahweh as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water, because all of your sins which ye sinned in doing wickedly in the sight of Yahweh, to provoke him in anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith Yahweh had wrought against you to destroy you. But Yahweh hearkened unto me at that time also. And Yahweh was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also at the same time. A lot of people want to know, why did Miriam get punished and not Aaron? Yah was looking to destroy the guy who we are doing priesthood. Just like he said, hey, step out the way. I'm sorry for commenting. Am I allowed to do that?
You're good. You're
Okay,
good.
let me save that. I'll save it for later. Hopefully I remember. And Yah was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I, Moshe, prayed for Aaron also at that time. And I took your sin and the calf which ye had made, and burnt it with fire, and stamped it, and ground it to very small, even until it was as small as dust. And I cast the dust thereof into the brook that descended out of the mount, and at Teberah, and at Massa, and at Kiboth Hatayua, ye provoked Yahweh to wrath. Likewise, when Yahweh sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, go up and possess the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the commandment of Yahweh your Elohim, and ye rebelled him not, and ye believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. You have been rebellious against Yahweh from the day I knew you. Thus I fell down, Moshe. Thus I fell down before Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights. And I fell down at first because Yahweh had said he would destroy you. I prayed therefore unto Yahweh and said, oh Yahweh Elohim, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember thy servants Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin, lest the land whence thou broughtest us out say, because Yahweh was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he had brought them out to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are thy people and thine inheritance, which thou brought us out by thy mighty power and by thy stretched out arm. Whew! Moses had to check. Yeah, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm excited for that chapter. Go ahead.
Did
I'm
you want
mute.
to?
Praise y'all. That was exciting. Praise.
Hey, so I was gonna say, I think Devarim only has like 30 chapters. You want to just run it through? I'm here. I'll read with you, brother.
Yeah, we can run them through this. Deviana, you could you want to let her take 10 and 11 and I take like 12 and 13 because I was kind of enjoying that.
Oh, you want to clear the whole thing tonight?
Okay.
We can.
All right. Shit, I wish I could change the title, but let's get it.
Deviana, you want to do we want to go like she read the two and then we just come back, or if you want, she can read to 11 and 12 or something like that. Should we read four chapters apiece, or do you want to just come back?
God, you want to just finish 12 and then crank up a new one? We'll run it out, and then shoot, we can start a new reading tomorrow and just run laps. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we can read the rest tomorrow.
Or we can read 12 and then open a new room and just finish the whole thing.
All right.
Con.
All right.
Who
Well,
read? Who read in 12?
My myself personally, I think, especially Deuteronomy, starting from Deuteronomy 28, I think that deserves its own night. I don't think we should bunch that up with the rest of this. What
just 12.
that's my suggestion.
That's I could see that too. Yeah, because we can have a long.
Well,
Or we can.
So we can
You want to read up to 28?
yeah, we can do that. I don't know if we'd y'all down with opening a new room. So just because I got the title till 12, we can do 13.
Yeah.
Open a different room, do 13 to 27 after 12. All right, no. All right, Sage, you can take the next two, and then Mike can finish 12. Then we'll open a new room.
Con.
all right.
All right.
Then Yahweh said to me, cut two stone tablets like the first ones, and come up to me on the mountain. Make an ark of wood. On the tablets I shall inscribe the words that were on the first tablet, which you broke, and put them in the ark. So I made an ark of acacia wood, cut two stone tablets like the first, and went up the mountain with the two tablets in my hand. And he inscribed the tablets as he had inscribed them before, with the 10 words which Yahweh has said to you on the mountains, from the heart of the fire, on the day of the assembly. Yahweh then gave them to me. I turned and came down from the mountain, and put the tablets in the ark I had made. And there they stayed as Yahweh had commanded me. The Israelites left the wells of the Beni Jaakan for Moserah, where Aaron died. He was buried there, and his son Eleazar succeeded him in the priesthood. 7. From there they set out for Godah, and from Godah from Jotbatha, an area rich in streams. Yahweh then set apart the tribe of Levi to carry the ark of Yahweh's covenant, to stand in the presence of Yahweh, to serve him and to bless in his name, as they still do today. This is why Levi has no share or inheritance with his brothers. Yahweh is his inheritance, as Yahweh your God then told him. And as before, I stayed on the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. And again, Yahweh heard my prayer and agreed not to destroy you. And Yahweh said to me, be on your way at the head of this people, so that they can go and take possession of the country which I swore to their ancestors that I would give them. And now, Israel, what does Yahweh your God ask of you? Only this, to hear Yahweh your power, to follow all his ways, to love him, to serve Yahweh your power with all your heart and all your soul, to keep the commandments and laws of Yahweh, which I am laying down for you today for your own good. 14. Look to Yahweh, your power, belong heaven and earth, belong heaven and the heaven of heavens, the earth and everything on it. Yet it was on your ancestors for love of them that Yahweh set his heart to love them, and he chose their descendants after them, you yourselves, out of all nations up to the present day. 16. Circumcise your heart then, and be obstinate no longer. For Yahweh your God is the God of gods and Lord of lords, and the great power, triumphant and terrible, free of favoritism, never to be bribed. He it is who sees justice done for the orphan and the widow, who loves the stranger and gives him food and clothing. Love the stranger then, for you were once strangers in Egypt. Yahweh, your power, is the one whom you must fear and serve. To him you must hold firm. In his name take your oaths. Him you must praise. He is your creator. For you he has done great things and terrible things which you have seen for yourselves. And although your ancestors numbered only 70 persons when they went down to Egypt, Yahweh, your power, has now made you as many as the stars of heaven. Deuteronomy 11. You must love Yahweh, your power, and always keep his observances, his laws, his customs, and his Torah. You are the ones who have had the experience, not your children. They have not had the experience. They have not witnessed the lessons of Yahweh, your power, his greatness, his mighty hand, and his outstretched arm, the signs and the deeds which he performed in the heart of Egypt against Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his entire country. What he did to the armies of Pharaoh, to their horses and their chariots, by overwhelming them with the waters of the Sea of Reeds when they were pursuing you, and leaving no trace of them to this day. What he did for you in the desert until you arrived here. What he did to Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, the Reubenite, when with all Israel standing around, the earth opened its mouth and swallowed them with their families, their tents, and all their supporters. 7. All these great deeds of Yahweh you have seen with your own eyes. You must keep all the commandments which I enjoin on you today, so that you may have the strength to conquer the country into which you are about to cross to take possession of it, and so that you may live long in the country which Yahweh promised on oath to bestow on your ancestors and their descendants, a country flowing with milk and honey. For the country which you are about to enter and make your own is not like the country of Egypt from which you have come, where having done your sowing, you had to water the seed by foot, as though in a vegetable garden. No, the country which you are about to enter and make your own is a country of hills and valleys watered by the rain of heaven. Yahweh, your power, looks after this country. The eyes of Yahweh, your power, are always on it, from the beginning of the year to the end. 13. Depend on it. If you faithfully obey the commandments I enjoin on you today, loving Yahweh, your power, and serving him with all your heart and all your soul, I shall give your country rain at the right time, rain in the autumn, rain in the spring, so that you can harvest your wheat, your new wine, and your oil. I shall provide grass in the fields for your cattle, and you will eat to your heart's content. Beware of letting your heart be seduced. If you go astray and serve other gods and bow down to them, Yahweh's anger will be kindled against you. He will shut the heavens. There will be no more rain. The soil will not yield its produce. And in the fine country given you by Yahweh, you will quickly perish. Let these words of mine remain in your heart and in your soul. Fasten them on your hand as a sign and on your forehead as a headband. Teach them to your children and keep on telling them when you are sitting at home, when you are out and about, when you are lying down, and when you are standing up. 20. Write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates, so that you and your children may live long in the country which Yahweh swore to your ancestors that he would give them for as long as there is a sky above the earth. For if you faithfully keep and observe all these commandments that I enjoin on you today, loving Yahweh, your power, following all his ways, and holding fast to him, Yahweh will dispose all those nations before you, and you will dispose nations greater and more powerful than yourselves. 24. Wherever the sole of your foot treads will be yours. Your territory will run from the desert all the way to the Lebanon, and from the river Euphrates, as far as the western sea will be your territory. No one will be able to resist you. Yahweh, your power, will make you feared and dreaded throughout the territory you tread, as he has promised you. 26. Look, today I am offering you a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of Yahweh, your power, which I enjoin on you today. Accursed if you disobey the commandments of Yahweh your power and leave the way which today I have marked out for you by following other gods unknown to you. And when Yahweh your power has brought you into the country which you are about to enter and make your own, you must set the blessings on Mount Gerizim and the curse on Mount Ebal. These mountains, as everyone knows, are on the other side, the Jordan, on the westward road, in the territory of the Canaanites who live in the Arabah opposite Gilgad, near the oak of Moreh. For you are about to cross the Jordan to enter and take possession of the country given you by Yahweh your power. You will possess it, you will live in it, and you must keep and observe all of the laws and customs promulgated by me to you today. Praise Yah for his reading.
Yeah.
All right, you good, Mike? Hit finish 12.
All right. All right, let's go to 12. All right. These are the decrees and the laws you must be careful to follow in the land that Yahweh, your Elohim, your ancestor, I mean, yeah, of your ancestors has given you and has given you to possess as long as you live in the land. Destroy completely all the places on the high mountains, on the hills, and under every spreading tree. What where the nations you are dispossessing, worshiping their idols, break down their altars, smash their secret stones, and burn their Asherai poles, Asher poles in the fire. Cut down the idols, their gods, and wipe out their name from these places. You must not worship Elohim, you must not worship Elohim, you should know it must not worship Yahweh, your Elohim in their way. But there are to seek the place Yahweh your Elohim will choose for among all the tribes to put his name there for his dwelling, to that the place you must go there bring you they bring your offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and special gifts, what you have vowed to go in their free will offerings, and the firstborn of their hearts and flocks there in the possession of Yahweh your Elohim, you and your family shall eat and rejoice in everything you have put your hands to, because Yahweh your Elohim has blessed you. You are not to do as we do here today, everyone doing as they see fit, since you have not yet reached the resting place, and the inhabitants of Yahweh your Elohim is given you. But you will cross the Jordan and settle in the land Yahweh your Elohim have given you as an inheritance, and he will give you rest for all your enemies around you, so that you will live in safely. Then to the place Yahweh your Elohim will choose as a dwelling for his name. There you are to bring everything I command you, your offerings, your sacrifices, and your tithes, special gifts, all the choice possessions. You have vowed to Yahweh, and there rejoice before Yahweh, your Elohim, you and your sons and your daughters and your female, your male and your female servants, and the Levitical and the Levites for their town who have not allotment or inhabitant of their own. Be careful not to sacrifice your burnt offering anywhere you please. Offer them only at the place Yahweh will choose in one of your tribes. Your observe observe everything I command you. Um, Nevertheless, you may slaughter your animals in any of your towns and eat as much as meat as you want, as if it were gazelle or deer, according to the blessing Yahweh your Elohim gave you. Um, both um, uh, current, currently current, the unclean and the clean may the clean and the unclean. Wait, it says the clean, unclean and the clean may eat it, but you must not eat the blood. Pour it out on the ground like water. You must not eat it your own. You must not eat in your own towns the tithes of your grains, new wine and oil and olive oil, or the firstborn of your herds or flocks, or whatever you have vowed to give, or your free will offerings, or your special gifts. Instead, you are to eat them in the possession of Yahweh, your Elohim, placed um, the Yahweh, your Elohim, will choose you, your sons, your daughters, your female and your male and female servants, and the Levites from their town. And you are to rejoice before Yahweh, your Elohim, in everything you put in your hand. You put your hands to. Be careful not to neglect the Levites as long as you live in your land. Verse 20. Then then Yahweh your Elohim has enlarged your testimony as he promised you, and you crave meat and say, I would like some meat. Then you may eat as much as it has you want. If the place were wait, if the place where Yahweh, Yahweh your Elohim chose to put his name is too far away from you, you may offer an animal from the herd and the flock. Yeah, for Yahweh has given you as I I have commanded you, and in your own town you may eat as much as you must eat as much of them as you want. Verse 22. Eat them as you would a gazelle or a deer, both the car man, the clean and the unclean may eat, but be sure you may not eat. Be sure you do not eat the blood, because the blood is the life, and you must not eat the life with the meat. You must not eat the blood. Pour out on the ground like water. Do not eat it, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, because you will be doing what is right in the eyes of Yahweh. Verse 26. But take your contrite things and whatever you have vowed to give, and go to the place of Yahweh will choose. Present your offering, present your offerings, present your burnt offerings, I meant, on the altar of Yahweh your Elohim, on both the meat and the blood. The blood of the sacrifice must be poured beside the altar of Yahweh your Elohim. All but you may eat the meat. Be careful to obey all these um relations relations I am giving you, so that it may always go well with you and your children after you, because because you will do that, you will do what is good and right in the eyes of Yahweh your Elohim. Yahweh your Elohim will cut off before you the nations are you are about to invite and dispossess. But when you have driven them out and settled in their land, verse 30, and after after they they've been destroyed before you, be careful not to be snared by the iniquity about their God, saying, how do these nations serve their God? Um we will do the same. You must not worship your Elohim. You must not worship Yahweh your Elohim in the way because in worshiping because in worshiping their gods, they do all kinds of intestable things Yahweh hates, where they even burn their sons and daughters in the fire as as a sacrifices to their God. See that you do all I command you, and do not add to it or take away. Shalom.
Right. Did anybody want have anything to discuss from these chapters? I think Devin Nair, you stopped. Where was it? Somewhere in chapter 9 or something like that. And also, I wanted you to touch on that. What was it? Those fiery serpents from the other day. I know you were about to jump into it, but I guess you said you had a lot to talk about or something. But I would like to hear you dissect those fiery serpents in Numbers.
Shabbat Shalom room and keep
Shabbat.
Oh,
some.
hello.
Shalom.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm still trying to finagle my way through Clubhouse, and my son called me, and I'm hearing Clubhouse and him talk at the same time. So he got so I have to call him back. But so that's why I didn't answer right away. I was trying to figure out how to do this. So let me come back. You guys continue. I have to return the call, and I'll come back to the room. If you don't mind. All
All
right.
right. So,
Thank you.
And I was wanting to know what does it mean when it says here of if the place that you're supposed to do your sacrifices be too far. I'm trying to find the exact verse.
I think it was, hold up, probably Deuteronomy 12. Hold up.
hmm 21.
One.
It's
If the place which Yahweh thy Elohim hath chosen to put his name
to
there
offer up a
be too from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock which Yahweh hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after. So they were only called to report to the place where Yahweh have chosen his name for those 3 times. And it states here in 21 that if we are not able to go there, that we must do these things in our gates. Are these, I need explanations there.
Gone. Hey, what was the chapter and the verse? I'm gonna try to go into the language a little bit, see what it says.
12 and 21.
Gone.
Because we could say that it's still in the land, but he specifically said, if the place be too far for thee. So
Yeah,
the
but
original
we
words
dealing
would
with
be
two
beautiful
things.
and helpful.
We dealing with two things. One is when they in the land, and if they be too far, if they travel too far, or whatever. And the other is dealing with exile and captivity. So when you look at the two, one, he's telling them, before y'all get into the land, this is what's happened. And we see that even from Joshua to Ezekiel, as they conquered more people and more land mass, the more land mass was allotted to people. So now you're going and you're getting more and more land. More and
mm,
more
I
allotments
see
are
what it
being
says.
made because
Through
it's
the
going
chapter.
from them being in one spot and being in one place, and then as they dispossess the other nations, they're taking their space. And then now this is becoming Ephraim's part, and Manasseh's getting this part, and Gad is getting this part. But as they're conquering, they're giving them those lands. So in this, he's telling them that if you be like too far, because they're supposed to come, the commandment is to come to the place where he put his name, which is Jerusalem. That is the commandment, what you're supposed to do with it. But if you defile it, if they went whoring off other guys and I kick you out, then that's off the table. Just like the commandments. If you obey them, you're gonna get blessed, you're gonna be in the land. But if you don't, you're gonna be kicked out. So when we dealing with us that are in captivity, then we have to go to the testimonies of captivity. What is going on there? So this was something that I had to really, 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 really wrestle with because it can be where we're looking at things from two different perspectives. Is it what's done in captivity and what's done in the land where he put his name?
Right.
Right.
So as I'm reading here, I'm trying to see where, because we're in Deuteronomy,
You put the
and
Sabbath
they haven't gotten to the land yet.
with the feast
Joshua
days.
haven't given his speech or anything yet,
The,
so they're still getting their instructions.
the
In
feast days, Deuteronomy 16.
Yeah. Yes, he
So
haven't
let
gotten
me
to
read
that
it in
yet.
the language real quick and see what it's saying.
Yeah.
Like it say K Yarak. So like K is like if or like when or except. So like K Yarak or Yarhach. If you be cast off or removed or wander or be a good way off, uh Mameka from Hamachoim, from the place or home, Ashar, that Yabar, that has been like appointed or acceptable or required by Yahweh your Alahayak, Lasham, to like appoint his name, Shema, Sham, then Wazabata, you shall sacrifice or offer, uh, Mebak Kareka, a bull, a calf, a cow, or like an ox, Umashaneka, of your flock, or like your sheep, Ashar, that Nathan, that has been appointed or ascribed or ordained to you. Hold on, let me keep going. By Yahweh Lecha Ashar, to you, as I have commanded, Sheweteka, or given you charge to do, or has sent a message for you to do. We'a kalta, you shall burn it up. You shall feed upon it. It means you shall consume it. Bisharecha, at the city, at your city door or gate or port. Bekal, in any manner whatsoever or howsoever. Awat, that you may that your soul nafeshecha desires, or like
So let's talk about sacrifices where you be at, because he haven't given them the feast days and all of those things, because they aren't necessarily in the land. So he's telling them what they're going to do, like the qualifications. But once we see, like, after they establish, after they've been gotten in the land, after they have to come to Jerusalem, the men come 3 times a year to the Most High. They come into Jerusalem. Each time you see them doing these things, it's in Jerusalem. And but when you see them in captivities, it's a different thing, because now he's cast you off, and it because they were defiling it, and they were mixing idols with it and burning their sons and daughters on the altars and stuff like that. So, and making their own groves and idols. So we see that they ended up corrupting these things, and the Most High carried out His promise by ejecting them out of the land. So now they have to incur their punishment, the separation, the separations from you and your Creator, the separation from your land, and that's why you cry out. You cry out so the Most High will redeem you, restore you back to your land, and then all these good things that He has for us, you'll keep. When you look at Josiah, how he did when he woke up and learned the truth, tore the idols down, and what did he hold? A big feast and Passover and sent everybody to come to Jerusalem. It says not been done since Josiah. He had a big feast. Hezekiah did the same thing, calling the exiles out of Assyria and telling them to come to Jerusalem to hold a fast, the pieces, and the Passover. Because the key word he said is the place where I put my name, and we know that that is Yarashua. Because it's a gift. It's a gift, and it's a beautiful thing when the Most High, when we doing it for Him, with Him, according to how He laid it down. See, they had to do it specifically how He told them. They couldn't do it their own way. They couldn't like improvise. They had to do it exactly how He told them to do it. They burned strange fire on it, kill them. Touch the ark, you weren't supposed to touch it, kill them. It wasn't no, I do it my way, you do it your way. It was all done together, and it was all done under the Most High Yahweh in the place where He put His name. He put His name all over the world. He put His name in a specific place, and He put His people in a specific place. And when all of that happened, what happened to that temple? That beautiful temple that's gone. The beautiful land of Jerusalem is gone. All of our things is gone. We're supposed to mourn for that. We're supposed to remember when they had it good and they went against it. So we never will when He restore us and return us back. And we be able to. Can y'all imagine what it's going to be like when we go to Jerusalem if we so blessed to do so? How it's going to be when we hold our first Passover in Jerusalem, our first feast day in Jerusalem, being restored to us, something that we've never done before. And when you look at Babylon in the book of, let's read, if we ever get a chance, read the book of Nehemiah, and it'll explain a lot to you on them coming out of captivity, and then how when they had these feasts and they slaughtered 14,000 lambs and 20,000 oxen, 30,000 bulls, they're all doing this together. And you don't feel that same thing if you holding the feast day in your house, but so the next person not, or you holding this the Sabbath on one day and somebody else doing it on another. The Most High don't honor us that way. That's why He say we be all thrown into confusion because we are still in exile. But what happens when He restore all these things to us? It's gonna be done right. Not gonna be you do it your way. When He said and established that back to us, just like they did it right when they came back, He gonna have us to do it the right way when we come back. So that's something that we have to look forward to. We're supposed to cry out when we think of where we're at in exile. We're in exile. Nothing to celebrate about, nothing to feast about. We're in exile. And I think we will say we in a captivity, but we forget what that means. That means that the Most High has separated Himself from us as a whole. And now we're in the stage of redeeming and waking up to Him and learning these things. And it's hard.
But He
It was
said that
hard
He
for me too.
fully said He fully cast us off as a people.
No, He didn't. That's why He's waking us up now. But we're still in exile. We're not back in our land. That's like when He was dealing with Daniel and them. Daniel and them was still in
Can we
exile.
go to
But the
the
Most
book of
High was
Daniel?
still dealing with Daniel.
Can we go to the
And
book
He
of Daniel?
saved them from the fire too.
Anybody got their sword?
Con, yeah. Let me finish this up real quick. The next verse. So like we see like it was talking about like how they're gonna do it like if they're cast off from the land or sent off from them, they're gonna be doing things how like they basically want to do it to their soul's desire. And then the next verse says like ach, but not like brother. It's like akka. Like even so, ka'ashar, as ya'akal, it is eaten at thought the roebuck hashabe, or like the roebuck is like like a beauty or a pleasant thing. Wayath and ha'ayal, the heart. Khan, you shall eat takalana hatame, the unclean, waha'atawar, and the unclean, yada of them alike. Yakalana, you will be eating. Rock hazak, only be sure, la balte, to like not anything besides akal that you do eat, hadam, do not eat the blood, ke hadam, hey, for the blood, hanafesh is the soul, willah, do not takal, eat, hanafesh, the soul, am, of the flesh, habashar. So he's like, yeah, like if you're ever cast off and all these other things, it's like you're gonna try to do things according to your own heart's desire, and you're gonna eat clean and unclean things because you're doing what you feel like doing. But he's like, be sure that you do not eat like the soul or the blood. And then it says, le takalena, do not eat, or al, on the earth, haaretz, these things like tashbakana, you shall pour out as water, kamayim, le takalana, do not eat, la aman, to that end, yatab, and it will go well, lacha, to you, and your ula baneka, to your children, ahareka, after you, ke, when, ta'esha, you shall do, hayashar, what is right, ba'ane, in the sight of Yahweh. It says, Rak Kodesheka, only set apart or holy things. Ashar, Yeya, you shall have. Laka, to your Unadareka, your vows. Um, Desha, you shall like take. Ubata, and go. Al, to. Hamakom, to the place or go home. Ashar, that. Yabar, that is what you shall choose and appoint as appointed by Yahweh. And there, wa'ashita, you shall offer Allah teka, your burnt offerings, habashar, of the flesh, wahadam, and the blood, al mizbah, on the altar of Yahweh Allah Hayat, your God, wa'adam, your blood, your zabahika, your sacrifices, yashafek, you shall pour it out, al mizbah, on the altar of Yahweh Allah Heka, your God, or Allah Hayat, Wahabashar, and the flesh, takal, then you may eat. Then it says, Shamar washamata, observe and hear closely, eta, all, hadabarim, the words, ha'elah, these ashar, anoke, that I am commanding you, mashwateka, like miswot, like the commandments, I'm commanding you. La eman, to that end, yatab, it will go well, leka, ulabaneka, to your children and ahareka after you. Ad, for, olam, ever. Ke, when, ta'isha, you do hatab, what is good. And we yashar, and what is right. Be'ene, in the sight of Yahweh, your Allah Hayat, your God. Yeah. And then it says, Ke yakrit, when you shall cut off. No, like when Yahweh, it says, Ke yakrit Yahweh, Yahweh Allah Hayak, when Yahweh shall cut off, Eta Hagoyim, the nations, Ashar Ata Ba, where you go to, Shamar, where you La Rasha, to possess, Mefaneka, before them, Wayashrata, and you succeed Atam over them. Wayashabta, and dwell in their land by Asharam. Hashamar, take heed, Laka, Fan, to you, and be not snared, Tanakesh, Aharem, by following them or warding off or pursuing them. Ahare, after that, Hashamedam, after they are like brought to naught or perish. Mefaneka, from before you, Ufen Tadarash, and that you will inquire or diligently inquire or research and seek out for mefaneka, before you, ufan, and that you tadarash, uh, uh, care for, diligently inquire, make inquisition, not la alahayem, of their gods, uh, Lamar, saying, Eka, how, Ya Abda, serve Hagoyim, nations. How did these nations serve their Eta Alahayim, their gods? Wa'isha, and do or accomplish or appoint or sacrifice to those gods. Khan, even so, Gam, Ane, will I, lay ta'eshan, not do so for you, Yahweh, your Allahayim, I am, K, Kal Tawabat, for every abomination, Yahweh, Ashar Shane, he hates. Ashar la Hayam, have they done these things? K, for their gods. Gam Eta Benayim Wayet, even their sons, but not they him, and their daughters, Yashrefa, have burnt in the fire to their gods, La Alahayim. Atak called Hadabar Ashar Anake. This and whatever thing after I am Mashwewe am commanding you, Atkam, Atau, to you, the Tashmara, to observe, to be circumspect, to take heed to look to reserve, to be a watchman over. Lashot, to do, lay, tashab Allah, do not add thereto, wela tagara mamena, nor diminish or make small from. And it says, Ele hahukim weha mishpatim. These are the statutes and judgments, ashar tashmeran, that you will observe and be a watchman to preserve and regard. Lashot, to do. Ba'aretz, in the land. Ashar natan Yahweh, that Yahweh gives to you. Alahaya abataka, of your fathers. Laka, to you, to possess. La rashta, Kal Hayamim Asharatam Hayim, as long as the days that you live, Al Ha'adama, on the earth. Like, yeah, he's basically like, when that verse that we brought up originally, he was like saying, like, when you're like taken out from your land, you're gonna like seek to do like things in accordance to your own like soul's desire. But he's like, yo, be careful not to eat the blood or the soul. And then he's like, yo, like, do not follow after these people and the way that they serve and offer to their gods. Because, like, that's the only way, like, y'all get it.
Yes, and that was for the sacrifice because he brought up the feast days and stuff. Yeah, right. So he's saying when you away and you do a sacrifice, and it started with the sacrifice of lamb or bull. What did it say when it first started? When he first to the caveat of that is that he says when you go, you shall sacrifice. If you're too far at this time and you are away, and if you sacrifice to something, then let it be this way. And but we know we don't do sacrifices now. He took that away. So we went a long time without any of that because you're in exile, so you don't have sacrifices or none of that. So that's why he's saying how you what type of animal to sacrifice, right? Did it say that in the beginning, or did I miss that?
Yeah. Let me go back to it. And the interesting thing was, let's go back to it. Let me go back. I think it's like two more. One, two, three. One more. Okay. Here it is. The interesting thing is like, he was telling them like, hey, like this is what you do when you go to your land, and then he says, "Ke yarhak mameka hamakom." If you be yarhak, if you be cast off, or wander away, or be too far off, or be a good way off, mameka, from hamakom, from home or the country or your space, ashar yabhar, that has been like designated or appointed or required by Yahweh Allah Hayat, your God, la sham shema, to put his name sham there. And then it says wezabata, you shall kill or offer, do sacrifices, um mebakareka, of your bullock, your beef, your calf, your cow, your heifers, your ox, umashoneka, of your lambs, your sheep, of your herds, ashar natan Yahweh laka ka ashar, that Yahweh has given to you. And he says, shawataka, that I have commanded, wa akalta, you shall eat or dine with. Beshareka, in your gates, Bekal, whatever awat nafsheka, your lust of your soul. And then it says, Akka ashar ya'akal eta, even as what is eaten, hashabe, the glorious, beautiful things, wa'et, ha'ayal, the heart, kan, you will be eating, takala na, hatame, the unclean, wa hatawar, and the unclean, yada, of them alike, yakala na, you will eat. Rak hazak labalte akal. Only be sure not that you eat hadam, the blood. Then it says ke hadam he hanafesh, because the blood is the soul. Wela takal, do not eat hanafesh, the soul. Am habashar, with the flesh or the nakedness of man. And then it says, Le takalena al haaretz. Do not eat those things from the earth. Tafashkena. You shall pour out the blood, kamayim, as water.
Okay, yeah. So it would seem to me that this is talking about like we have to offer a sacrifice, and we see that they did sacrifices. Abraham did sacrifices going into places. They offer a sacrifice. We see Cain and Abel offering sacrifices. We see those. So he's saying if you're going to do it, this is the way you do it, and life in the blood. So he's telling them about those customs too, about sacrifices, because they wasn't doing that in captivity when they were in Egypt, leaving out of Egypt. So they're leaving out of Egypt, and we haven't even gotten to him even. Again, he's going to give them the feast days, the Sabbath, and how to do it according to a feast day, and how to do all the order he's going to give them to them, right? And he's because they just coming out of Egypt. They don't know none of this stuff. They don't know none of that about sacrifices and how they should do it and these type of things. So he's showing them all these things. And as they're going, they're not even in the place where he put his name yet. So he's telling them ahead of time. That's why he say the place where I put my name, and we see eventually we know where that end up being Jerusalem. So it's like when you're looking at it in order, that's how he's dealing with them, teaching them. And when you get to the multiple captivities they begin to go in, from Judges, you see them documented. From all the way, people say Babylon and Assyria, they've been in many, many, many captivities. And when you go to the testimony of them being in the land, finally established, finally getting it, living there. David, Solomon, putting the temple there, doing what they doing there, holding the feast days, establish all these things. And then when you see them taken into the Syrian captivity, halt. You see them taken into the Babylonian captivity, halt. Jerusalem desolate. And then we know what happened with the third beast and where we are today now, where we don't have any of these things. We can't, if I tried, or Menelec, if you tried to do it exactly how we're supposed to do it over there, it would probably be impossible unless you probably wealthy enough or something like that. Maybe you can afford 7 lambs or a lamb or whatever you need. Will you kill it correctly? Will you have the proper things there? So we would have to improvise like that just said and do the unclean with the clean. We would do the profane with the holy, because we would have no choice but to mix it. Like we ain't supposed to mix garments, but we don't know what these clothes over here got mixed in them. We probably all wear mixed garments. So it's so many things that we're doing.
Do not miss the linen with the garment. Yep.
But how many of us is doing that? We don't know what some of these clothes we wearing got in them.
Now, you
But
know the reason
because
for
we
that
in
too,
this land, that's why.
you know the reason for that too. Also, the
What?
if you look it up, like it's proven like linen has a frequency of I think 5,000. So like it's also good for wearing. It's good for helping heal faster too, and some other things. So like if you mix it with another fabric, it actually cancels out. I think wool has the same frequency, but if you mix them together, it cancels their frequency out, and so you have a dead frequency. You basically have the frequency of somebody on their deathbed or something like that. So they don't want us. That's why they make us do that basically over here. That's why I got me 100% linen garment. I'm a rock tomorrow during this prayer room. Speaking of which, I just set it up in one of my rooms I created. We're going. I want us to be at least 12 hours in on the fast before we start the prayers and stuff. I'm gonna set it up. I was gonna do 9 a.m., but I know some of y'all are like 2 3 hours behind, and it might be too early for y'all. So maybe around noon Eastern, and get that started. It'll be around 9 a.m. for some of y'all. If that's a good time for y'all, let me know. We can get this basically Leviticus 26:40 through 45 prayer going and pray to the Most High in unison. So yeah, let me know if that's a good time around 9 a.m. to noon Eastern for most of y'all.
It's an okay time for me. Minilet, everybody, 9 a.m. 12 Eastern time.
12 Eastern. Yeah, it might be better for some of y'all. I know some of y'all are on the west side, Midwest. So yeah, I don't want y'all getting up a little too early. I know y'all gonna be up tonight already.
Wait, what's your time? What's your time over there? I'm in PA.
I'm Eastern,
It's
so
a
we should have the same. We should be on the same time zone. I'm eight. It's
uh,
8:26 right now for me.
yup, same over here.
All right, so noonish.
So
Con,
that's
and then
good for me. That's 11 a.m. for me, so that'll be good.
yeah, perfect. And I was gonna say, it goes into it in the next verse. Uh, like le takalana la aman yatab. Do not eat those things to that end it may go well. Leka ulabaneka to you and your children. Ahareka after you. K when da asha you shall do hayashar. What is right and what pleases, what is true. Ba'eneya in the sight of Yahweh. And then it says, hold on, it's the next verse. Hold on. Where it's basically saying like, do not serve me like how these other people serve their gods. So like
Yup.
that's a
Oh,
deep
that's a cut
concept.
to the New Testament.
Well, yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, yeah. That's a
And the
deep
Christian life.
concept because not only that, right? But when we drop JC, we can't serve Yahweh like how we served JC. You feel me?
Yeah, I understand what you're
That's what
saying.
that's what I was saying. Like it get kind of sticky after that because like you'll see like they'll be teaching a different Yahweh than like this one.
Uh, and that's how a lot of Christians do when they merge him. They see him according to the Christian lenses. And then you have all of these Christianites, right, who are keeping the Passover for who? Christ. He the Passover lamb. So they call themselves remembering who we are, doing our so-called customs and our laws and everything, but they doing it to an idol. So that's perfectly fit for them too. While you trying to do it, and you're still in idolatry for one. You still eating unclean foods. You're mixing it. You're mixing Yah word with the idol, and that's what I see. 95% of the Israelites who are keeping these things, they are doing it to the idol.
Yeah, Colin. Let me bring it up in the English one. It's like okay, it's like what Deuteronomy 12:30 and 31. 30. Hold on. All right, here we go. We'll go verse 30 and 31. Say, beware lest you be attracted after them, after the ones that are exterminated from before you. And we know that the nations were not like completely exterminated. He's talking about like they were brought to like a lower state, like that we were in, and we were lifted up and took their land to serve our God there, right? Like, okay, beware lest you be attracted after them, after they are exterminated from before you, unless you inquire about their gods and saying, how did these nations serve their gods, and I will do likewise. So like we can't serve Yahweh like how we serve JC. It says, you shall not do so to Yahweh your Allah Hayam, for every abomination to Yahweh which he hates they did to their gods, for also their sons and their daughters they would burn in fire to their gods. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like they
You
were
can't
offering
do
their
that
children.
in the
Yeah, they
name
were
of
offering. They were offering their children and dedicating their children to their gods. But yo, you could dedicate your child to and call him Yahweh Allah Hayina Yahweh Akkad. You could call him
Hmm.
Adonai, but it's not the same. It could be not the same one that we're talking about right here.
And the
And
Muslims,
serving them like that's like the Jewish stuff basically. Like they're
yeah.
serving a different
and
Yahweh.
the
You know what I'm
Muslims,
saying?
you know how the Muslims try to say that Allah and Yahweh is the same. We like, no, this the God of the Quran is not the one of the, even the one of the New Testament, and they try to merge those with Yahweh. I think that's what disgusted me when I saw these Christianites in these camps having Passover parties, feast days to an idol. They go all out for it. I even seen one video where they actually killing a lamb. They actually take it and kill it, and they all celebrating. And JC Yahweh Shai, the Passover lamb, when we know that nothing that we just read has anything to do with that character in the New Testament. But because they're in these lands, they had the gods of these lands, find out who they was and what do they do. You corrupting the Most High's word because you're defiling it. You're offering your sons and daughters to a false god, and you're worshiping a false god. And that scripture is testifying against the very things that we see. When again, there are a small number of us that is Yahweh only. So majority of the so-called Israelites are keeping Sabbaths and feast days to an idol. That part right there, this is really what let me know. Be careful what they do. What do you see them doing? And that was another revelation for me to see. Like, wow, they think they doing something right, like the scripture just said. They in their hearts honestly think that they're doing the right thing because they've been told by the enemies, who books they read, that Yahweh, whatever his name is the Passover lamb. So they're doing it to him, thinking that they're doing it to Yah, because they add him with it, thinking that they're doing it for us and our ancestors, when they really doing it to an idol. The Most High does not honor that because he laid down laws, testimony, and it's not doing what your heart desires. They doing what their heart's desires. They're not going according to the law and the testimony. They're going according to what they see everybody else doing, or what they see, or what they themselves have come to believe is this is what I must do. But that scripture is very telling when it tells you be careful of that because you will mix the clean with the unclean. And we see that's exactly what's happened.
Gone exactly. So like that's why he got us like in where we're at now, so we could learn like no like it's like yo obviously we gonna be sacrificing animals, they're gonna be killed, they're gonna be burned, all these things, but that's why I try to go into let's figure out what exactly the true deeper meaning of these things are so we never go astray from it again. That so when we do go back in the land, like ISUPK and GMS, they're not going to be doing the sacrifices for us. They're going to be legit Levites over there, and like just like in the Torah, like yo, they going like stone you. You do something wrong, like so that's why we're like I got this time away to learn what the stuff actually means. That's what it means to like write the word upon your heart and your soul. It's like embedded into like a more higher place of your mind where you know what it means and it has a value to you other than what the base text of the words are saying. Like for example, like
Con.
last night when we were talking to the younger brother last night, about like these type of things, like bro, like in the Tanakh, the whole world know who the Israelites were. Did that inspire them to do things properly? No. They when they were in the kingdom, under kings and were ruling over other nations, and the whole world knew who the Israelites were. Did that inspire them to keep the Torah? No. That's why he's like, yo, this time when it's written in our inward parts, like the inward parts, it means like yo, like that when you're sacrificing the animal, like some of the inward parts are preserved and some are not. I say it all the time, like for example, one of them, the kidneys are acceptable to Yahweh because it like purifies your body. It's symbolic of like the inward parts that like it's cleansing you like from the bad stuff. Yo, like you know what I'm saying? Like I'm going to
No, no, no. I mean, I think that that matters too. That's what'll come with the memorial. Remember, you you remember it. We're watching it, seeing how they do it. Like, oh man, they had 10,000 lambs and 5,000 goats, and they just had. I'm imagining this great feast that they having, and I'm longing for that. That's why I try so hard to cry out to Yahweh, and we all cry out because we long for it. We want it. Like you said, it's not gonna be no bogus people. When we get in the land, but we going to the wilderness first. I think in the wilderness, all of this is gonna be cleaned out too, because we get to the land, ain't gonna be no disputes. It's gonna be what it is. And I learned that another key of the Sabbath is uh, guarding the Sabbath. You are to guard the Sabbath. When Nehemiah, you read there, and they're breaking the Sabbath, right? And what did he do? Got, what did he do to him? He told him up because he's guarding the Sabbath. If we're guarding the Sabbath, right, and we're all supposed to be keeping it, and if somebody is defiling it or doing something, we're supposed to say something because because if you're keeping it, you can't keep it if you're not guarding it also. Remember, they say a man was called gathering sticks on the Sabbath day, and what did the guards of the Sabbath do? They saw him gathering those sticks, they got on him, and what happened to him? Because the Most High said this is an example. He wants us to keep his stuff to the letter. It's not do what you want to do, because we see our ancestors tried to narrow around it and skirt around it, and they still got the same fate. Because with the Most High, when he says something, he mean it. And he letting us know that even now, as we waking up, we like, I can't play with the Most High. You don't play. We got to know that fear of Yahweh. But if you don't know exactly how he's dealing with and what he requires, then you don't fear that. So you're going to do what you seem right. Like I said, all the people who are doing this, it's not saying that you're doing it on purpose. And well, once it's come to your attention, then all of a sudden now you definitely the Most High is taking note. But those who are in idolatry that are doing these things, if the Most High don't bring them out, it's for their destruction.
come on. I'm about to read this Psalms 51 start at 4. It's like Laka labata ka hatate. Only to you I have sinned. Wahara. This evil ba'aneka in your sight I have done. Ashete. La eman tazdak or tazadak. To that end you might be justified badabareka when you speak or like subdue or teach me. It says when you speak or subdue or teach me. Tazeka bashpateka, be clear and cleanse me. Bashpateka, when you judge and condemn me, or like plead with me. Han ba'awan, behold, in iniquity, haulat late, I was shaped. Uhabahet yamatena me ima, and in sin my mother conceived me. Han amat hafashta, behold, like truth, establish it. Your desire, your delight. Batu hot in the innermost, ubashetam in the innermost and in the hidden, in the inward parts, in the secret or shut or closed up places. Ubashetam. Hakama, wisdom, you have hidden it in the innermost places, in the inward parts. Taudadena, you shall make me to acknowledge or declare, be diligent to, be privy to perceive, to be taught with surety and skill, to have understanding. Uh, Tahata ene, it like purge me or like blame me, bazo with his soap. Wa'atar, and I will be clean and taught and purified. Takabashane, wash, make me full. Umashaleg, and then to snow, I will be alaben, will be made whiter than snow, or like more pure. Tamashe ane, make me to like hear, be obedient, to perceive, to proclaim, to witness and understand. Shashon, joy, with shamha, with gladness. Uh, Tagalana, may I rejoice. Ashamot, that the bones, over the bones, deka'eta, that you have broken to teach me. Hashatar, hide, Faneka, your face, mehate, from my sins. Wekal awanate, and all my iniquities, mahe, blot out or destroy from me. Lab, ta'or, bara, lay, making me a clean heart, Allahayim. Wa rawah nakan, and a right spirit. Hadesh, renew me, repair me, bakurabe, inside, in my inward parts, within myself. Al tashlakene, do not cast me, melafaneka, from your presence. Wa rawah kodesheka alteka, from your spirit, from your Holy Spirit, and do not take me from mamane, your presence. Hasheba, restore, build me, uh, return me, restore me. Hold on, what else could it mean? Call back to my mind. Hasheba, lay to me. Shashon, the joy, Yasheka, of your salvation. Wa ruwak nadeba, and with your spirit, free me. Tamaskene, uphold and establish, sustain me. Alamadeya, and then I will teach, diligently, skillfully teach. Pashe'im, transgressors, darakeka, your direction and way. Wahataim, and sinners, eleka, unto you, yasheba, shall be converted or rebuilt, shall be reversed in their ways, shall be caused to walk forward and not backwards. Uh, Hashelene, deliver me, defend me, rescue me, medademim, from like blood guilt. Allahayim, God, Elohaya, oh to you, God, Tashate, of my salvation, of my help, my victory. Daranen, I shall sing aloud, Lashawane, with my tongue in language. Sadaketeka, of your true righteousness. Adane, Shafate, Tafte, Ufe, Yagad, Tahalateka. O Adonai, from my mouth, my lips, open my mouth, and I shall show forth your praise. Ke le tafash zeba, for not, you do not desire sacrifice. Wa'atena awala le, otherwise I would give it to you. Tarashe, in delight. Zabhe alahayim rowak nashbara lab nabashar, the sacrifices, Allahayim, of the spirit, a broken heart, a broken contrite heart, Alahayim le tajaba. He does not despise. Hate ba bashana ka tashayon. Do good by your favor eta to Zion. Tabana, build, obtain children. Hamot, the walls, Yerushalayim, the walls of Jerusalem. Az, tafash, zab'e. Then you shall be pleased with sacrifices, zadak awala, righteous burnt offerings. Wakalel, the whole az ya'elah. They shall offer al mazbahaka faram on your altar bulls. Like, yo, like, it doesn't mean nothing to him unless we know what it means. See what I'm saying? You ever hear like it's the thought that counts?
Khan for the word. Shalom, just do a quick reset to the room, everybody. We did the reading. I think we're gonna close this room out, Brother Soul. You said, and are we still going to finish the reading for the rest of the
Hey, yeah, Soul, if you ready, if you want to read to all the way to 28, I'm down, bro. And then we could do a lesson on 28 tomorrow or something like that. I'm sure everybody would want to contribute on that one right there.
Yeah, yeah, we got to close this out. And yeah, we're going to hit 13 through 27. Kill that. And then we can do a whole thing on 28 tomorrow after the prayer room sometime. So yeah, yeah. Yahweh Kai, let's hit the other room, y'all.
Yahweh
How was
Khan.
that? You say a prayer out this one? Or what? Say a prayer out for this one.
Oh yeah. All praise to the holy name, Yahweh. Let us bring us bring us into remembrance of our former glory, of your glory. Bring us into your presence tomorrow. See our actions on this fast. See it as righteous and seeking to be in your presence and seeking to please you and seeking to get in the best, how do I say, the best mindset possible to be in your presence and allow everybody, let us be heard tomorrow as we supplicate to you, as we pray to you. Pray that everybody show up. We're going to do this prayer room tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern. So I'm going to give y'all plenty of time to wake up. We're going to close this room out, finish up 13 through 27, and get a little deeper into this book. All praise to the Most High's name. Open up our eyes, our ears, and our hearts. Give us the wisdom. Give us the zeal. Give us the understanding as we seek your word, as we read your word. Let us let us let us decipher and divide correctly what we are hearing, and bring upon us new revelations and the hidden things of your Torah, of your Tanakh, of your words. Anything that we have read over that we have not previously considered, or maybe we have went over our heads. Let it let it all just flow into us. Let us absorb all your holiness, all your word, and spread it to the world. Bless y'all. We about to open this other room. So yeah, y'all jump right back in. All praise to God only.
All praises to Yahweh only. All glory to the Most High Yahweh. See y'all then.
Let's go.
Oh, praise to Yahweh.